All right, let's now bring in Advocate Brenda Madumise Pajibo, Director of Wise for Africa, just to weigh in on this particular story. Advocate, thank you so much for your time this afternoon. Just give us your reaction to this case. I mean, here we have a 19-year-old boy seen in that video assaulting his 82-year-old grandmother, and another person also in the same room filming the entire attack.
Good afternoon, Unati. I mean, it's a travesty what we have witnessed over the few days, few days. What I can safely say is that this 19-year-old, this is not the first time he has done it. He has done it before to his grandmother. And if you were to look at the circumstances surrounding this violence, it's deep-seated, right? And if you hear the counselor saying to us that we need to educate. There's no education that is needed that we should be doing to 19-year-olds abusing their own family members. No education, because if we start from that premise, we are then condoning that kind of behavior. It is totally unnecessary, unwarranted, and it is unlawful for any child to lift a hand on their parent or their grandparent. Now, this young man, the 19-year-old, surely, and I want to say this, the person who was videotaping it knew that if I do not have the evidence to be able to support the claim that my grandmother has been victimized and abused for a long time, no one is going to believe me. And this is the desperation that we have put victims of violence to, because in the absence of any proof, we don't believe them most of the time. And I'm sure members of the community in that area were aware of this incident and other instances. The abuse of older persons and elderly persons is not new. It has been happening, and we tend to ignore it because it's older people. But what has made us to be outraged and infuriated the way we are is precisely because we have seen it.
Yeah. And I mean, what is also troubling, is the fact that when police were first called, about this matter several weeks ago, they were reportedly turned back by the family, saying that they would actually handle the matter. Upon the video then going viral, that's when the police decided to then open the case against the victim. What does that then say about families and community members, continuing to be quiet around such pertinent matters, particularly that affect the vulnerable?
Oh, absolutely. It's telling on how we conduct ourselves as citizens of this country, that we would hide this kind of abuse, physical abuse, emotional abuse, financial abuse. We will hide it and claim that as a family will sort it out. That is abusive in its nature, because that older person and elderly person has got no agency. Her life is determined by these young people. They are the ones who are going to decide what should happen to her when she's the one suffering the abuse. And in fact, her being scared it cannot be taken lightly. She fears for her life because it has happened before and no one has intervened and helped her, right? If this case does not succeed in getting us a conviction, the chances of this grandmother being abused again and this perpetrator coming back to the same house, to the same home, to continue to do what he has been doing all along is very high. And what we need to step up as communities and as professionals, especially the social workers, is to ensure that the grandmother has got a safe space so that she can live her life free of abuse. But we are complicit in the way we protect perpetrators of violence all the time. We as families are in the forefront of protecting perpetrators.
Let's quickly look at, just some of the comments that have been made already around, as you also say, the protection of older persons. I mean, when we interrogate the Older Persons Act, there are many who believe that government should, in fact, carry out this act, which then guarantees the rights of older people and, provides for community and home-based care and support, which is essential. A Human Rights Watch not too long ago found that the South African government, in fact, is failing to provide hundreds of thousands of older people access to just basic support.
Oh, let's not start on what this government has failed to do on many things and many fronts, right? And I think um, the travesty of it all is that we've got a government that has not had an integrated approach in how it addresses social ills, right? So we look at all of it in isolation from the other. That you have a country with the highest unemployment amongst the young people, right? Who think that they're entitled to their grandparents' pension grant. Because if you go deeper, you're going to find that they demand these monies from their grandparents. So you've got this unemployment that is exacerbated, and you've got the highest number of unemployed young people, right, who are not engaged in any activity, whether physical, economical, or otherwise, right? So unless we address all of these things holistically, the kind of homes that we're establishing, if you're going to be living in a squatter area, in a human settlement that does not have services, basic ablution facilities, water and electricity, how do we hope that we bring out people who understand and appreciate other human beings? What we are creating is people who just want to survive, and survival, it means different things to different people. But we have to have an integrated approach that looks at the entire